Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. My name's Amy, if you didn't already know, and I'm a mum of three. I have a son called Ashley and I have twin girls called Chloe and Lucy. As you can tell from the title of the video, this is my twin pregnancy video. So obviously my girls today are 13 years old, so it's not a pregnancy video that is right now. It's from when I was obviously pregnant with them 13 years ago. Scary. So I found out I was pregnant in May 2005, and then when I was about 6 weeks pregnant I was getting a lot of stomach pains, so they sent me for an emergency scan at my local hospital. So I went there at 6 weeks, scanned, baby's heartbeat fine, everything's okay. So when it came to my 12-week scan, it didn't even cross my mind that there might be two, because I'd had one at 6 weeks and they told me there was just one. So when I went for my 12-week scan, and she's scanning and you're watching their face, aren't you, because you want everything to be okay, so you're watching to try and see if everything's all right. And she was like, okay. I was thinking, oh, you know, what? She went, you're having twins. I was like, what? You know, I think if Craig wasn't sitting down, he would have fallen down. The colour sort of drained from his face. So, yeah, we were told we were having twins. So looking back on it, I remember the lady, I didn't think anything of it at the time, but when I had my 6-week scan and she said, I think there's only one baby. Well, I didn't think, I just heard, there's one baby, everything's fine. That's all I heard. Yeah, when I think back, she said, I think there's only one baby. So I think what it is, that my girls, if you didn't know, are identical, genetically identical twins. So they're one egg that was split in half. So it's possible that one was still just behind the other one, so you couldn't quite see both of them until they got a bit bigger, and then you could see both of them. So when you're having twins, it's quite high risk. So straight away I was referred to King's College Hospital in London. And a couple of weeks later, I turn up at King's College London. I wouldn't say it was the best appointment I've ever had. Straight away, you know, all the risks. They measured both babies and they found that one looked like she had slightly thicker, thicker on the back of her neck, which is a sign of Down syndrome. But the other one didn't, which I never quite understood, because I always thought if they were identical, surely they'd both be the same. But anyway, so there was this risk. So they wanted me to have, is it like an amnio or something, where they put the big needle in and take fluid off the neck. This does carry a risk of miscarriage, and obviously with twins it carries a double risk. So it wasn't something that I wanted to have. I decided not to have it. Everything else was okay. They were showing no other signs of Down syndrome. They had the nasal bone, because apparently if they don't have a nasal bone, that's a sign of Down syndrome. So we went back again, and the fluid looked better, so it was all right. So in the end I had to go back up to King's College Hospital every 2 weeks. And I had to go to my local hospital to see a consultant every 2 weeks. So there was a lot of hospital visits, as I say, because it is a high risk pregnancy. So I'd go up to King's, all excited. I'd come back, usually quite upset, because there's also a thing called twin-to-twin transfusion syndrome. And what that is, it's with identical twins, because they share a placenta. Both their umbilical cords connect to that placenta. Now what can happen is that one can then connect to the other one. So instead of taking from the placenta, one twin takes from the other twin, which can have really, really bad, obviously, well, one can die, one can end up brain damage because it ends up with too much. So what they're looking for is a bigger heart, bigger stomach. One was showing quite a bit bigger than the other twin, so they thought that I did have twin-to-twin transfusion syndrome. So again, I then had to go every week for a little while, scan every week to be checked. And in the end, about 31 weeks, they discharged me and decided that it wasn't twin to twin, and they think just one twin. When the egg split, it didn't split straight down the middle, so one was bigger than the other one. And once they were born, obviously I could see that Chloe was just bigger than Lucy, and you know, probably not now, only recently sort of leveled out, but yeah, she's always been slightly bigger. So I also had problems with hospitals, consultants having difference of opinion. So at King's, it was you're having a caesarean, that's it. At my hospital, well, no, there's no reason why you need to have a caesarean, no reason why you can't have a natural birth. Right, so I was having both these different information that was contradicting each other, which made it quite difficult. So, but in the end, I was, as I say, I was discharged from King's at 31 weeks and just went to my hospital. And because they were the ones that said, no, you can have a normal delivery, that's what I went with. However, I might, if I knew some of the information that I knew after, I might not have made that decision, but it doesn't matter. Everything was okay. As I say, it is a high risk pregnancy, so I was booked in to be induced at 36 weeks. I was massive, I was huge. I had a lot of trouble with my hips. I had to wear a belt on my hips because it was pushing the weight was pushing my pelvis apart. So yeah, I went in on a Monday morning to be induced, Monday the 23rd of January, 13 years ago today. When they examined me, they already discovered that I was about 2.5 to 3 centimetres dilated. So they just broke my waters, and that was it. I was recommended to have recommended to have an epidural, because if there was a problem, I already had everything, it was already in and ready to go, and they could operate if they needed to. So yes, they broke my waters, and that was it. I was in this big room because obviously 2 babies, they need double the amount of staff. So labour started. Apparently I'd been having contractions already and I didn't realise. I thought it was just where they were moving and it wasn't a lot of space. But yeah, I'd already been having the odd contraction and I didn't realise. So yeah, then I had the epidural, which at first didn't work. I was actually in more pain than what I was before, because they only wanted to put a little bit in. They didn't want me to lose feeling completely, because so then I could feel when to push. So, but I was in more pain, so they had to look, and what had happened is there was a kink in the tube, so I wasn't actually getting any of it. So they sorted that out. They put a full dose in, so I couldn't feel anything, which in some ways was quite nice, because yeah, but I couldn't feel when to push. So they're telling me to push, and I was like, I can't actually feel if I'm pushing or not. So I did feel a bit out of control. But then at 8:51 and 8:54, so 8:51 Chloe was born. Nice, quiet, peaceful baby, just looking around. 8:54, what they do, because when you give birth to one twin, the other one has got all this room all of a sudden, so they can turn round. Both my babies were head down and had been for the whole time. So once I gave birth to Chloe, they had to literally hold my stomach and hold Lucy from the outside like this to make sure she didn't turn. And then at 8:54, Lucy was born. Now a lot of people say, oh, you know, giving birth to twins, that must be such hard work. But it's really not, because labour's still one labour. It's still the same amount of labour. And once you've pushed one baby out, the second one was smaller anyway. So she was one push and she was out. So it wasn't, for me anyway, wasn't any harder to have 2 than it was to have 1. So yeah, I say Chloe was the bigger one. She was born 6 pound 6, and Lucy was born 4.14. So there was quite a big size difference. That was like nearly £1.5 pound difference, and that stayed all the way through as they were growing bigger as well. I was lucky with my pregnancy. Apart from the hip pain, I didn't really have any other problems. I had sickness and tiredness in the first 3 months, but that went. I didn't have heartburn or anything like that. I couldn't work until, at the time I was a beauty therapist, so I wanted to work as late as I could, but I think I only got to about 18 or 19 weeks and I was just too big. I couldn't fit behind the couch to do facials, I couldn't bend over to do pedicures, because my bump was just too big already at that stage. So yeah, I didn't work from quite an early on in my pregnancy. But yeah, so I just wanted to do this little video letting people know about twin pregnancy, and just for my girls to look back on as well when they're older. They can have a look and see about their birth and stuff, because 13 years ago you didn't really, well, I'm the one that takes all the photos, so you didn't really take selfies or anything like that, so I don't really have any photos of when they're first born or anything at all, because I was giving birth, so I couldn't take photos, and Craig never really took photos. He didn't have videos, so you know, I'm doing this now so that they can look back. I don't even have many photos of me pregnant. I don't have a photo of me pregnant when I went in. I think I have one at about 7 months, one photo, and that's it. And I regret that, because that's something that I'll never have again. So that's why I'm doing more of it now. So I put it all on a video and the girls can watch it. So happy birthday, girls. I hope you have a lovely day. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all next time. Bye.